Hey everybody, opening the beer. Sorry for the couple of minutes. I just saw that there was 2 release of builds for Windows 10, so I had to kind of quickly do a couple of videos for my computer, my tech channels, my insider channel, to announce the builds for Skip Ahead and for insiders and the fast ring for Windows 10. Lots of activity, so it was very last minute. I had to do the videos before I came in live, so sorry about that. But now we are, and looks good. Looks good. Everything is all right. Let's put the chat room here, and let's put this a little bigger. Yeah, about 125%. Yeah, so that it's easy to read. Hello. Da 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 da. So, hey everybody, my beer is almost frozen. It had actually a couple of icicles in it. I put it a little too long in the fridge, in the freezer actually. Hey everybody, welcome aboard. This is the Shortwave radio show, and we are live from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. We're here every Fridays. Of course, we talk about everything radio, and especially shortwave, medium wave, long wave. For those wondering, tomorrow is the VHF UHF one, so tomorrow we're going to talk about 30 megahertz and above, for those that like to hear about that. And that's going to happen, of course, on the other channel, the VHF UHF channel. So hope everybody is happy, and I'm actually very happy. I got an email this week that I will be having a YouTube plaque, a YouTube for actually reaching 100,000 subscribers on the tech channel. So that's that I didn't even know that they would give out some awards to people that reach certain levels. So I got an email this week that I was there, and apparently in a couple of 2 months max, so they say 8 weeks, I should have that. I'll of course hang it here proudly. That's for 100 subscribers on the other channel, the tech channel. Here we're still very far away from that, but it's kind of cool. I mean, reaching a certain level, 100,000 subscribers is kind of nice. So anyways, we'll be checking that out. What else do we have? So we're here. There's a nice chat room for people that want to actually join in. This is a lot of fun. We can, of course, all be here and just enjoy our radio moments together, our geeky radio moments. This is the place for that, and hope that everybody's going to enjoy that. So, Radioactive, nice to have you here. Chris Alpha Tango, nice to have you on board. FH/UA4WHX on 14245. Let's check that out here. 14245. You're hearing anything here? Upper sideband? Well, leave that in the... I will unplug the charger here that creates interference, and we will have some of that gone. Yeah, absolutely. So welcome aboard. Joseph, nice to have you here, my friend. From Tampa, Florida. Pretty cool to know you're here. 87 and sunny. Here it's about 32. We're about at 0 degrees. Dar's Cat, nice to have you here, my friend. Bobby Burgess, nice to have you on board. And nice to have you here from Morgan City, Louisiana, WA5107SWL. Cheers, everybody. Oh, wow, it's super cold. It's really good. Matambale, nice to have you here from Colorado. Nick Amando from Romania. Nice to have you here. Radioactive, nice to have you on board, my friend. What else do we have? Let's go down the list. Alton Byington, nice to have you on board. K3JWA in Baltimore. Pretty cool. And now equipped with a Yaesu FT991A. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Jerry DX, nice to have you here, my friend. Nice to have you here. Mark Cope from cool and rainy Dallas. Nice to have you here. What else do we have? Let's check it out. William Conlon, nice to have you here. Does anyone know of Yahoo groups for the newelect.com kit? Just got it and trying to figure out. I believe there's a Facebook group, if you're on Facebook, that has New Elect stuff, if I'm not mistaken. Al Catalan, nice to have you here from Botasani, Romania. Last Saturday, received the Voice of Saudi Arabia on 13700 from a hill nearby with active whip antenna on the FRG 7700 and our SP1A. Cool. Yes, post those for YouTube videos. We want to see that. What else do we have? Max S. Strong, nice to have you on board, my friend. Kevin Wood, nice to have you here. Pretty cool. Radioactive says all the important ones are here. Can begin. Oh man. William Collins says, this beer is great stuff. Yeah. Enjoy your beer. Cheers, everybody. NL 13851 from the Netherlands. And what else do we have? Radiocoms, nice to have you on board. Jerry in Northern Ireland, pretty cool. Scott Cranston, nice to have you here from Massachusetts. Pretty cool to see everybody here. It's really a lot of fun to be here, my friends. What else do we have? Let's go down, let's go down, let's go down. Carl Womble, nice to have you here. Jack 2112, Jack N9IIF, nice to have you on board, and the generous donator of this FT450 that I use quite a lot actually. It's kind of been turned on and it's been on in listening a lot because I gives me a nice radio to tune in other things. Poor little icon here is not used much now. Keegan, nice to have you on board. It says 45 degrees in Northwest in Arkansas. Andy Tobin, nice to have you on board, my friend. So yeah, I get a play button. Absolutely, it's a play button. Dennis Bergetzi, nice to have you here. Thank you very much. Andrew Ross, where's Mr. Cat? Well, actually, I've been wondering the same question, Andrew. He's outside. There's a lot of snow, so he doesn't usually go anywhere. He just stays in the stairs and looks at the snow in the backyard. But now he's been gone since noon and hasn't come back. So maybe he decided to go to the adventure of walking in the snow. I don't know. Or other possibility, I know that the old lady that lives downstairs from me, she kind of likes Paul the cat a lot. And I believe, I didn't ask her, but I think that sometimes she lets Paul in because she likes him a lot. So maybe he's downstairs taking a nap, and I don't know. So we'll be checking that out a few times. PLF Radio, bonjour et bienvenue, mon ami. Toujours un plaisir de vous avoir de la France. Zero Cool, nice to have you on board. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Yeah, geeky radio moments. Andrew Ross says, I'll make a point of watching tomorrow's VHF show as I have a few questions and observations for UK viewers. Cool. Cool. Major Jester, nice to have you here. Bill Mead from Pennsylvania, nice to have you here. Major says, loves watching your channel, man, it's awesome. Thank you very much. The VHF show is tomorrow. Can somebody just share the link to the official VHF UHF for me? That would be really, really nice. And so if you don't know that I had that channel, well, it's there. And I will be having the show from that channel tomorrow, not from here. Some people still get mixed up. They come here and they say, well, there's no show. Maybe there's no show. And they don't see that it's on the other channel. Hey, Carl, nice to have you here. Jason Stafford, nice to have you on board. JD, nice to have you on board from Eastern Canada, Prince Edward Island. Really nice. Benoit Blondel, bonjour. Welcome aboard. Nice to have you here. Radioactive's got his coffee, heading 40 Fahrenheit. Christopher Coleman, nice to have you on board. Really enjoying your daily tips. Thank you very much. Texan PL680 says daily tips is a great idea. Thank you very much. I think also I'm thinking of other things that I can add to add even more videos. Actually, the daily tips have doubled my views in a month on the Shortwave channel. I would average from about 60,000 to 80,000 views per month on this channel, the Shortwave channel. And I, since I've been putting the daily tips, I've been averaging 120 to 150,000 views a month. It doubled my viewership. A lot of people seem to like that. So that was all the videos that I post of, you know, reception and stuff. So it's kind of cool, and it's making the channel even more popular than ever. Mark Fisher, nice to have you on board from Southern Illinois. Nice to have you here. Kevin Wood, 9245, strangely wavering. Anyone else? 9245. I've got nothing there. Actually, I got some kind of buzzing, but I don't know if it's local or not. Friends, Michel, nice to have you here from Belgium, my friend. Oh, 9265, that's 9265 WINB usually. But I ain't getting anything right now. So, nothing here. Philip Briggs, nice to have you from southern Brazil at 33 Celsius. Pretty cool. Mohammad Safirul Sahad, nice to have you here. 9W2SBL. Pretty cool to have you on board, my friend. Nice community. Yeah, Radioactive DX, the community cat. He goes everywhere. I mean, everybody invites Paul over to his place because they just love him so much. He's just so funny. But you know what? It's pretty cool because it means that I won't have any problems. And the neighbor, if you guys remember, there was this neighbor in the back that didn't like Paul. Well, that neighbor moved. He's got to a old folks home. So he's not there anymore. And there's what looks like a Vietnamese or Chinese couple that lives there now. So I guess it's going to be relaxed now with Paul the cat, because I was always scared that he would go into that neighbor's yard and that he would do something, because he really didn't want my cat to go there. He didn't like Paul. And I mean, I don't know how many times he told me, oh, when your cat comes to my home, yeah, just scare him off. He won't go to your place if he doesn't like it, you know. But anyways. Randy in Riverside, California, nice to have you on board, my friend. Always nice to have everybody here. What else do we have? What else do we have? Let's just go down. Hey, Benoît. Bienvenue, Benoît. Toujours un plaisir. Andrew Ross. Nice to have you here. Raymond Challoner, nice to have you on board from Ray Edward and family in West Yorks, UK. Nice to have you here. Lots of non-EM traffic on 11175 today. I saw Matt, MDK2, I believe, mentioned that he heard a lot of communications on, in this case it was 8992, two-way communications happening. Billy Laptop, nice to have you here. Nicola Hughes, nice to have you on board from Buckinghamshire, UK. Cosmic Lettuce from snowy southeastern Arizona. What is this white stuff? I decided, Cosmic, to take some of it and send you it, because a lot of us are kind of a little fed up right now. So we decided to take snow from Montreal and send it way down to Arizona. Actually, we even sent it to New Mexico, as they were showing Las Vegas. Not New Mexico, sorry, Nevada. Las Vegas, Nevada, in the white stuff. So we've pushed it down to you guys, you know, enough for us. We'll send you some now. Here they're announcing a very kind of bad weather this weekend. Lots of winds and snow and freezing rain and a whole mix of crap on Sunday. So I don't know what it's going to be like for this weekend, but man. Phil Hensler, nice to have you on board from Western New York. Dr. Tom McManus, nice to have you here. Just stopping by to say hello from LA. Just got a new PL680, working well for a portable. You'll love it. The PL680 is an amazing radio. Amazing radio. And I hope you have a lot of fun with that. And if you got any questions, we're here for that, I can tell you. Al Catalan, quick question. What will you choose between a Texan 880 and a Sangean 909X? I would take the Texan 880 for a very simple reason. It's more sensitive. It's a beautiful radio. It works well, and it's more sensitive. I would take the Texan 880 over the 909X. 909X on the long wire is nice, but it's a little deaf just on the telescopic. And thanks, guys, for sharing the link to the VHF UHF channel. So, hey, Volts, should ask the makers of RSP1A to pay you share, as I got it this week based on your recommendation. I went to Forest today and tried it out. It is pretty good. It is an amazing device. Actually, you know what? I've been thinking of contacting them this week and see if we can maybe do something, because I have been talking a lot about it. I love it, and you know what? I've been wondering if maybe we could arrange something. I don't know. I'll be checking that this week for sure. You're not the only one. I mean, a lot. I've had at least close to a dozen people that told me they bought the RSP1A based on my recommendation. And everyone's very happy with it. It is a pretty amazing little receiver for the price paid. I mean, wow. I'm totally amazed by that thing. I mean, you know, you could compare this thing to receivers that are much more expensive than that, I can tell you. But, you know, you got to think about it, because one of the things I was pointing out the other day, because somebody said, well, you know, it's just $110 or something. And I said, well, yeah, but you are running it on a multiple $100 computer. So in reality, it's a several $100 computer. It's just that you already have the computer running it. That's why you're just paying $110. So part of it is the computer, but still, I mean, for the price paid, that thing is truly amazing. It has its flaws, you know, but I mean, easily offset by what you actually get for that price. I can tell you that. Ray Erdink, nice to have you on board from Leeds, UK. G7POQ. Sheldon RV, bonjour, hi, nice to have you on board, my friend. And pretty cool to have you here. By the way, Sheldon, I don't know if you noticed, I wanted to get back to you today, but I totally forgot. Just in case you didn't notice, when I sent you the Utility World column and you arranged a few things, there are the titles for the 2 pages are on the wrong page. They're below at the end of the other the previous page, and the title should be at the top of the other page. So I don't know if it comes out like that at your place. Here it comes out like that. So you maybe just check out to make sure that the titles of the pages are correct. Because yes, I did send in my March column for the utility, World of Utility, that will, of course, appears in the fantastic Messenger bulletin that comes from the Canadian International DX Club. So you guys, if you didn't ask yet for one, please do so. You can ask for a sample copy. CIDXclub@yahoo.com. And if you like, you can subscribe to and become a member of the Canadian International DX Club. And it's a great way to continue, stay in touch, read the utility column from me, or the very interesting QSL column from Mickey Lamage. Hey there, Mickey, nice to have you here. And all the stuff that Sheldon has to say all through the Messenger magazine or publication. And it's an electronic PDF publication, and it's very, very nice. Very well done. Lots of information. It's really a general club, so there's information about everything and every. It's a DC to daylight type of club, so all sorts of information in there. So pretty cool. What else do we have? What else do we have? Free Saxon, nice to have you here. Pretty cool. Al Catalan, planning to purchase copper tube for building magnetic loop. I will choose the thickest one. What about the small loop, 1/5 from the big loop? Same thickness? The thickness, I believe, isn't that much of a problem. It's really the length of the loop, the how big the loop is, that really will make. But if you talk about that small loop in the middle of that big loop, I believe the same thing is okay. I don't think there's a difference between both. It's just small. There's a small loop in the middle of the big one, if that's what you're talking about. Hey Matt, W0MDK, he's got his official call. Really nice to have you here, my friend. What else do we have? Dr. Tom McManus says, no snow or ice here. I moved south with the birds. I'm going to check here. There's a lot of activity going on. Seems like it's the street is blocked and there's full of cars. Sorry guys, just needed to look at that, what's happening, because I'm hearing all the cars just honking. So anyways, what else do we have? Radioactive says this weekend my part of Oregon is supposed to get 4 to 10 inches of snow as well. So snow weekend. Nicola Hughes, nice to have you here. Might be doing my ham radio foundation license soon. For those of which have already done the foundation test, do you guys have any advice? I guess just, study and make sure you know your stuff. Red 61, nice to have you here, my friend. Benoit Blondel says, wow, in France 17 degrees. Yeah, here it's 0, and which is pretty much maybe slightly above normal for this time of year. We had minus, I think it was on Tuesday night, or on Monday to Tuesday night, we had minus 20. We're supposed to have minus 18 or minus 19 again at the beginning of next week. But usually, we're getting into March in a week. We're going to start seeing those that spring condition. March is usually that month where we start seeing that finally winter is slowly moving away. What else do we have? But they are both beautiful radios. Like Max Edstrong says, the 909X and PL880, beautiful radios. But yeah, 880 would be better, I think. What else do we have? Al Catalan says also brought a, whoops, I lost the page here. Also bought a RSP1A because of your recommendation. So, if it's pretty cool. What is the native BW on the RSP1A? Oh, wow, good question. Let me just check here for a second. What do I have here as a native? The bandwidth is 10. It's from 1 to 10. The bandwidth is from 1. You can have 2 megahertz to 10 megahertz of spectrum bandwidth, I believe. If that's what you wonder about the bandwidth that you can see on your display, 10 megahertz is the yeah, Alp Catalan, 10 megahertz. I was wondering, I got it blank for a few seconds. So you can set it as low as 2, but you can have as wide as 10. But just one little thing, your PC needs to be performing well to get 10. For example, here on the Core 2 Duo machine, 10 doesn't give me 10. It actually fades out at the ends, at both sides, at about 6 or 7 megahertz. It's not getting all the info it needs. On my Core i5 machine, it does give me 10, full 10, without any problems. Unless you got a really big screen, though, I rarely use 10 because 10 is good if you have a really huge screen. If I put that on my 50-inch TV in the living room, okay, I'd probably put 10. But on a smaller screen, this is a 32-inch. I tend to want to keep it maybe at 3 or 4, or depending on what I'm going to do, and depending on how much I want to use the power of my my PC also. Ray Erding, PL 880 or 680? Well, if you can afford the 880, I'd go to the 880 rather than the 680. But both of them will be amazingly good. Okay, and there is a difference in price, and you'll be happy with both of them, honestly. Dr. Tom McManus says, oh, by the way, there's a fix for that YouTube for the PL680 and the PL680 radios on that frequency offset. Says 680 is perfect and can't be bought for $90, $95 plus $11 shipping. David Provo, bonjour, welcome. Nice to have you on board from Tampa, Florida. What else do we have? Send you 3 more ISS captures. Okay, I'll be checking that out, Bobby. Dave Gallen, nice to have you here. Says, I'm just getting into radio. I love the hobby. Still trying to sort a decent antenna. Love your YouTube vids. Awesome, 73. Thank you very much. Eddie Essex, nice to have you on board. Says, why not have a show on the coding using RSP1A or packet? There's going to be a lot of stuff we're going to do. I'm planning maybe next Friday. I'm planning a special edition of decoding digital modes with our radios, and we'll talk about digital modes a little more. So we'll be checking that out, and of course, anybody that has some suggestions for things you'd like to see on the channel, please do so. I always am looking at ideas and things that I could add and make this this channel even more interesting to everybody. Edward Turner, nice to have you here. New subscriber, interesting program. Thank you very much. WD8NJR is his ham radio call sign. Welcome aboard, and hope that you'll stay around. Stuart, nice to have you here from the UK. 2E0SDI. Jim Gordon, nice to have you here from Dundee, Scotland. Has anyone tried a new radio, a Rady Wow R108? No SSB, but a really good small DSP radio. It's like a small version of the XH Data D808. I've seen some people talk about it. I'm not really sure how it performs, honestly, not having one. But yeah, that's something to take a look at. Dr. Tom McManus is working on his ham license. I put it off for a year. Well, now I'm working on it this year. I got to get it this year for sure. So we'll be new hams together. Mike Hannah, nice to have you here. Glad just made it. Just got done plowing the roads. Been getting it with lots of snow. Just walked in the door. I was not sure if I was going to make it. Well, you're here, my friend. I can tell you that. Matt, I'm supposed to get snow tonight. In fact, the weather app still says that we're supposed to get it today. Cool, Sheldon. It just came out weird here. I don't know. Maybe it's just the one I have. But if everything's all right, cool. I just wanted to make sure it was okay. So, PLF Radio, will you make new videos with your radios apart from the SDR? Yeah, absolutely. Actually, there will be a lot more videos. I'm waiting for the weather to get better. What I want is to make a lot of videos of my different portables from the park and from different areas. I'm actually buying a new bike to get back into my biking habits, because I used to do 3,000 to 5,000 kilometers of biking every summer to keep in shape. Last year, I did maybe 10 kilometers of biking. I just didn't use it. And I thought it was a shame. And my bike is old. My bike is like 20-year-old. And it's such in a bad shape now that it would cost me half the price of a new bike to just get it back working. So I thought, you know what, why not buy myself a brand new bike? And I've been looking at a few. I've pretty much stuck my my idea on one that I've seen the other day. It was going to cost me about $700. I don't want to pay too much for a bike either, because I have a tendency to sometimes leave it at different places, you know, locked to a telephone pole or whatever, you know. So I don't want to have something too expensive because it's too easy to steal. But I want to get back into biking. And of course, that also means going back into biking will mean bringing my little pack-sack, my little backpack with radios and wires and doing videos from different places. So there will be a lot more, and actually a lot of the tips videos that I'm doing will actually be done at some point outdoors at different places. I'll give you guys ideas of things, you know, how to set up, what to bring with you to just enjoy your hobby and you know, have a lot of fun. And you know, it's something that also adds to the hobby. Going somewhere on a beautiful day, you know, you don't want to stay in a beautiful sunny day in the summertime inside your home listening to the radio. So with a portable, it's cool. And you know what? I'm checking out, because the RSP-1A will come with me also a few times. I'll bring my laptop computer, and so I plan to do some you know, Perry Island and some videos. I've also been starting seriously to look at a new laptop, and so hopefully getting something that has interesting battery life at the same time. So lots more stuff coming this year. I'm going to really pack this channel with tons of all sorts of videos to try to make the hobby more fun and help everybody. You know, sometimes we don't have ideas. Sometimes we just get stuck in our little world of doing things. Then you see somebody doing something that you never thought of, and it's like, oh, yeah, I could do that. I never thought about it. I remember the first time I went to Perry Island, the expedition, I had an email from a ham radio operator saying, you know what, I've always read about these fancy de-expeditions to remote places, and somehow that was a de-expedition, and I didn't think about what you just did. Take a bunch of radios, go to a park somewhere farther away from homes and from you know, noise, set up and just have fun. And he said, you know what, sometimes it's like it's obvious, but it just isn't there. And so I plan to try to do a lot of these videos to try to promote more, you know, having fun with your radios, not just at home, but why not, you know, take a field trip? Why not go biking? Why not, you know, have a car, take a car ride somewhere and just stop, you know, somewhere that you can stop, of course, not in the middle of the road, but and take out the radio and piece of wire and enjoy the view and you know, enjoy a beautiful summer day. So lots of that coming. You're gonna see this year. This channel is gonna. I'm actually have a goal on this channel. In 2019, I've decided to set goals. I never set goals on my YouTube channels before. I always went with the flow and, you know, looked at what's happening and how they're increasing the viewership and stuff. But I've been watching a bunch of course, I've been meeting up. I've had a few meetings with YouTube, people from Google and YouTube here in Montreal that give you tips and all sorts of things on YouTube channels. Also, I've been watching a lot of their videos online, and you know, I get my paycheck from this, so of course I wanted to get even more interesting and have more views, because more views equals more money, pretty much. So I went on this channel with tips, the daily tips that I do. I try to do almost every day. There are days that I am a little busy. Actually, there are days that I really took off. It felt good. This Wednesday, I just did nothing. But I don't do that too often, because you know, I try to promote and have really a standard of doing videos every day or every, you know. And what happened here, first of all, is my views went from roughly an average of about 70,000. If we put it an average, 70,000 views a month on the Shortwave channel, and I want to push this so that by December I would get 250,000 a month, 250,000 a month. And to do this, of course, you got to create content and interesting content that people are going to watch. So I'm already in the right direction, because I've passed from 70,000 to roughly 130, 140,000 average right now. So I'm just missing 100,000 more, which in YouTube terms is actually not that much. You just need to do the right stuff. So for that, of course, I'm checking out on ideas and things to do. I'm amazed at these live shows also that have been much more popular in the past few weeks. I was looking while I was setting up today. I noticed that last Friday's show is 2,500 views. For a live radio show that talks about shortwave, it actually isn't that bad at all. So, you know, there's a few things like that. And on the channel, I do have, I've been looking because there's, with the new YouTube studio that they are promoting, which changes the looks of your YouTube studio stuff, they promote stuff. They tell you, well, you know what, that video is the most popular one you got. This is what people like, what you do. They do give you lots of suggestions. And it's very interesting because on this channel, they've been showing me some of the reviews of some receivers and some tips videos that I've done that have crossed the 50,000 views. And I've got a couple that are actually close to 100,000 views. So it's kind of interesting. And it's you know, there'll be more content here for sure this year. And more interesting content. I got stuck in really a period of just posting, you know, reception videos of what I was listening to, kind of. But you know, I want to do more than that now. Okay, Nicola Hughes. Yeah, I'm probably a little late for that, I guess. What else to? I read 61. Starting to think about beer selection. What else do we have? What's everybody in the chat, including John, having for dinner tonight? I have no idea. I think it's shepherd's pie. Volt's already had 2 beers, so he's not bad. Mark Cope, 11900, S9 West of America. Yeah, in French, I believe, right? I think it's in French on 11900. And it's from Sao Tome, I believe. Nothing much here, 11900. Interesting to see what propagation is like. I got a lot of noise today. What else do we have? Dr. Tom McManus, I believe the PL880 with the latest firmware version in it is actually fixed from what I've read on a blog post somewhere. So, Scott Cranston, can I use the RSP with GQRX on the Mac? I believe you can. I believe you can if I'm not mistaken. Kevin Wood says SDRIQ. So I don't know. Shilling crackers, huh? Yeah, Vault, you are giving up resolution by increasing the bandwidth. Absolutely. I like, you know, 2, 3. I don't usually go much more than 4 megahertz in bandwidth usually. What else do we have? Kevin Jane Apollo, nice to have you on board. Says used M-Test online when I was studying to get my extra. Good program in my opinion. WS2H. Lolo Parkovsky, nice to have you on board, my friend. Kevin Wood, hot chicken sandwiches with chips. Huh. That sounds good. I think I'm gonna have shepherd's pie for later tonight. What else do we have? What else do we have? Ivan Siga, nice to have you here. Okay, the resolution is 14 bits, but only up to 6. Huh. Okay, interesting. Okay. I've read a little bit, but I've not read too much of it. I've read some SDR Uno stuff. I've read, I'm kind of filling my head even with this FT450, which is a very complex receiver, actually. So, pretty amazing. So, Keegan says, all reception is done with Ethon Grundy Edition Field BT. You seem to like that radio, Keegan. Simon Templar, nice to have you on board from cold Portland. So here it's not too bad. It's sunny and about 32 Fahrenheit. Dr. Tom McManus says, like your YouTube videos here. Watch a lot of them. Great stuff. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much. Ivan says, for next week I want to build a loop antenna for another frequency. I'm in Argentina. Which band do you recommend? Well, depends at what time, because the problem with, you know, shortwave is that what time you want to listen to, honestly. Honestly. So what else do we have? What else do we have? Vianney Arsenault, nice to have you on board. Bonjour et bienvenue de la Gaspésie. VA2 VMA, VA2 VMA. Love vaults. Why not both? PC and bike. What else do we have here? Yeah, Lolo Pavkovsky. For at least 20 years, I've been doing 3,000 to 5,000 kilometers of bike per summer. Really keeps you in shape. I can tell you that. Really keeps you in shape. And really, really enjoy that a lot. The Rock 80. Nice to have you here. For me, listening shortwave is much more enjoyed than TV, internet, and other. I listen to shortwave a lot more than TV, I can tell you that. PLF Radio, great ideas for radio plus bike. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, I can tell you that. What else do we have? Matt says, mine's at least a racing frame from the 70s, so not much weight to it, but it probably weighs a heck a lot more than some of those carbon frames than they have these days. Yeah, the one I have right now is made of aluminum, and it's okay, but it's probably a little more heavy. The one that I've checked is actually much lighter than the one that I have right now, which is about, the one I have now is about 20 years old, roughly 20 years old. And I put a lot of money on it, I can tell you that. Sheldon, yes, next Friday we'll be at Winterfest. Yes, we could. Yes, we could. So, we'll talk about that and see how you can set up things for that Skype, because that would be a lot of fun, actually. That would really, really be a lot of fun. So, yes, absolutely. That would be a cool idea to have you guys from Winterfest. It had a new and interesting aspect to the show too. We're going to talk about that and how you can set up and get into here during the show. Absolutely, absolutely. This is a good idea. Would be very, very cool, honestly. Sakura.dx, nice to have you on board. Back from the sea, cool. In Japan. Fiona says, I'm living on a mountain here, but in the summertime I bring the radio equipment and go to the forest to find more high mountain, plug radio and go on the air. It's a lot of fun also to mix in, you know, beautiful scenery, beautiful nature, and radio together. Honestly, so many times I've had a lot of fun with that. I can tell you that. Radioactive says, there are plenty of snow parks in the mountains near me that would be dead quiet RF noise-wise. Really pretty place to go. And it's fun. It's fun enjoying the outdoors and the radio. It's just a lot of fun. It's mixing in a lot of stuff. And in my case with the biking also, you know, keeps you in shape and listen to the radio and enjoying the beautiful weather. William Collin, what are the two analog on your right shoulder? They are the Patrolman's SW and CB60, which are basically they are multi-band radios. One has 40 channels CB, the other one has shortwave, 6 to 18 megahertz. But for the rest, they're AM, FM, VHF, low, high, and UHF multiband receivers from Radio Shack. The CB60, this one here, was purchased by my dad when I was about 14, somewhere in 1983, roughly. And I saw the SW60 with shortwave on eBay. The guy was selling it like for like 20 bucks, and I thought, okay, I want to have its little cousin for 20 bucks. Come on. And the guy was in Ontario, so it didn't cost a lot in the shipping and anything. So I think it cost me, with shipping and everything, maybe $30. So I thought, yeah, why not? We'll have the little cousin. What else do we have? Let's go down. Ivan, what you call a pirate is someone that doesn't have a license and he's transmitting anyways? Pretty much. A pirate is pretty much that. And yeah, so yeah, pretty much. But usually what we call pirates are mostly people that go on the air and they have specific programs like, you know, like kind of a radio show if you want, with music and everything. But they don't have a license and they operate in specific, a lot of them are on specific bands. So, Sheldon Harvey, increased views, more Amanda and Janice. Yes, probably. Hey, we got 1 million views now that we have only women on the show. Big Bench Anton, shortwave dead. I want to turn on my radio in 2021. Well, you should turn on because it's not dead at all. And I've been listening to a lot of stuff, I can tell you that. Even if the solar activity is kind of low, I've been receiving a lot of stuff this week. Propagation was amazing. I was listening to a lot of stuff this weekend. Really interesting. Propagation was pretty good. You know, it's not like when we're at the top, but there's a lot of stuff. You're actually missing out on tons of things if you don't turn on your radio until 2021. Stuart, nice to have you on board. Says eating meter, nothing but Russia at the minute. So, Simon Templar, Shortwave's not dead. Been listening to stations just about every day. Absolutely, I listened to some hams on 20 meters from Europe this morning. I got the guy from Croatia, S57DX or something. That's always strong. I got a guy from Germany. I got the ON4UN station. I think it's from Belgium. I got what else do I got a guy from Northern Italy, and they all had really strong signals. It was a lot of fun. I listened to the Voice of America in English for starting at about 1800 UT until the show started. I was listening to Voice of America with a really good signal on 15580 from Botswana. So, you know. K6YYL, Kimberly, nice to have you on board. Simon Templar, sounds good. When is dinner? In a couple of hours. Hey, Mr. Cat is here. I left the door open in the back just slightly. And Mr. Cat is over here now. Hello. Where were you? Everybody wants to know. I want to know where you were. You were gone. You've been gone for 4 hours, which is unusual in the winter time. So now he's looking at me. Dave Todd, nice to have you on board. He's receiving Voice of Greece 9420 with a good signal. Let's check it out. 9420. Really good. Look at that. With some music that we will not leave very long, so I don't want to have a copyright strike. So Voice of Greece, very strong, 9420 kilohertz. Here's an example, Big Bench Anton. Voice of Greece. I will just go for 2 seconds, guys. I want to close the door in the back because there's also another cat that actually comes in and steals Paul's food. And also it's cold outside. So here we are. Sorry guys. It's not a really good idea to leave a door open when it's 0 degrees outside, because it's going to cost me a fortune in the electricity bill to heat the place. So Paul the cat is now eating, and maybe he's going to come over, say hi, I don't know. Hopefully. What else do we have? Let's go down. Let's go down. Hey, Ronald Hester from North Carolina, KD4IJS. Nice to have you here. Let's go down. Stuart has a simple setup. An ICOM IC7300, IC7610, Yaesu FT991, and FT847 full-size dipole. Max says wrong. We should send Gilles a pizza. That's what I had last week after the show. Boy, last week I was kind of drunk at the end of the show. A little drunk. Vinny Batita, nice to have you here. What good software to use? To do what? That's the other question. Matt says, I like to keep the SDR set to 2 megahertz bandwidth. Usually set the decimation to 4 or 8, but I'll open it up and see the whole broadcast band. We'll open up to 5 megahertz when I don't know where the parrots will be. No problem. Thanks, Jerry DX. I will reach 1 million someday. Actually, according to, I was looking at my statistics, and I've been on that channel. I've been racking up 5,000 subs, new subs a month lately, a little more, and it's really growing fast. So I think we're gonna reach 1 million a day someday. What else do we have? Radioactive says, I see hams attach ham stick with a small HF radio on their bikes. Absolutely. I've seen all sorts of setups. Oh, cool. Dr. Tom McManus says he rides 200 to 300 miles a week on a bike and take the portable shortwaves out to the lake. Pretty cool. Makes a great day, absolutely. It feels good because you did your daily exercise, and it's just, you know, and you enjoy the beautiful weather. What else do we have? Matt, you know, a shack is a shack. It's like my office here. Half of it is a mess right now, and I really need to do a better a cleanup here to make it better. Same here. Yes, Kevin Wood, I know. I had done one summer with very little biking. Actually, even worse, just stopping the biking for the winter season. When you actually get back on your bike in like March or April, you see that there's already a big difference. I can tell you that. What's the beer of the day? I do not drink, but enjoy watching. My beer right now is a Blonde de Chambly, which is a local brewery, Unibro here. This one is a 5% beer. I decided to start with a lower alcohol content beer as not to become drunk like last week. Last week I had a 9 and a 9 and a 10.5. So these were a lot. And I was drinking faster last week also. Here's a question for you. What is the tone on 3758? It's about S9 plus 20 here in the UK. I don't know. I don't know what you're hearing, my friend. 3758 in the UK. Anybody hearing the same thing? Over there. Dan Hubert, nice to have you here from Chance Harbor, New Brunswick. Cool, nice to have you here. Another Canadian province, really nice. Radioactive, with grand solar minimum approaching, waiting till 2021 to listen to the radio may not help you. Well, you know what? I actually have, I was thinking, if there's time on Sunday, by the way, in the International Radio Report, I've read the latest reports on and experts talking about solar cycle 25 coming up. So we've already seen a few sunspots of solar cycle 25 appear this year. How do we know? Well, the sunspots from a new cycle have a reversed polarity. And it's interesting because, you know, there's all sorts of doom and gloom observations and people saying, well, we won't have any more solar cycles and stuff. First of all, there's one thing I want to put straight, because a lot of people talk about the Maunder minimum, that period in the 1700s, something like 1750 to 1800, where they say, well, there were no sunspots. Yes, there were sunspots. It's false. Everybody that says there were no sunspots is fake news. It was not a period of no sunspots, and it was not a period of no solar activity. It was a period of less solar activity, and that's the difference. There were still some cycles in that period of time, and a lot of people don't, you know, think, oh well, there was nothing happening then. No. The other thing to be careful is that no scientific person will tell you that if it was colder at that period, it's because of that Maunder minimum. There's absolutely no scientific evidence of that. Come on, people want to see you. So basically, here we go, Mr. Cat. Here he goes. Let's put the camera on you a little bit. You guys want to see Mr. Cat? Here we go, Mr. Paul the Cat here. Hey, Paul, look at the camera. People want to see you, yeah. So, anyways, so we got to be careful where you get your information about stuff. Now, it would seem, because for a while people were saying, well, the next cycle might be smaller than the one we had now. We just had, yes, the smallest solar cycle in 100 years with solar cycle 24. But the good news is that the most experts that are looking into the solar activity right now say that solar cycle 25 will actually be a little more than cycle 24. So that means the next cycle will not be smaller. It will be at least equal or probably bigger than what we just had. And that's the latest predictions, that solar 25 will be bigger than the one we just had. For most people, it won't be maybe what we had in like in the 80s or 90s. The other big problem with solar cycle, with the solar cycle, is that we don't really know what is normal for the sun. We've been watching the sun since about the 1600s kind of regularly. We've been measuring the output of the sun seriously in the past 50 or 60 years, actually. And we've really learned more about the sun in the past 20 or 30 years, actually. So we actually have no idea what's a normal average type cycle for the sun. We have no idea. We have hints here and there of stuff happening with, you know, people in the past that wrote about it and stuff. But we have no idea what is actually a normal sun. We have no idea. We haven't watched the sun seriously and its solar cycle and the sunspots enough to know what is normal and what's not. Was the 1950s, 60s, 70s, and 80s with these huge solar cycles what is normal for our sun? Is solar cycle 24 what is normal for our sun? Somewhere in the middle? We have no idea. And actually, the latest predictions show that cycle 25 will actually be at least equal or maybe even better, more active than cycle 24 we just passed. And the latest predictions seem to say that we will start slowly getting the rise to the solar cycle 25 early 2020. So early next year, there probably and possibly, and it's a prediction, and once again, we don't know that much about the sun, but the prediction seems to say, well, early next year, we're going to start slowly getting back up. So that's the latest info we've got on that. And I mean, You gotta take that with whatever possibility of what we know right now. Pretty much. Stephen Worth, nice to have you here. Pretty cool. What do we have? Matt says, I had a cat that would break in and eat my cat's food. We ended up keeping him. The problem is that other cat isn't nice. So when I actually tell the cat to go away, he actually gets mad at me. And I'm afraid that he could hurt Paul the cat, so I don't want him here. Kimberly says, we had a tiny bit of snow flurries here at below 1,100 feet elevation. Our local mountains and foothills got a very good amount of snow. Cool. Or not, depending on what you want. Edward Hernandez, bonjour, ça va bien? Welcome aboard, my friend. DE1DJK, nice to have you on board from Germany. HM01, Prism, Cuba, possibly in 11635. Nice to have you here. Let's go down. Hope Dan Hubert says likes the band buttons on Uno. Actually the interface of SDR Uno is well done. It's a pretty nice interface actually. Fanny Zanakis, nice to have you here. Pretty cool. Take care, Nicolagus. Always nice to have you on board. And what do we have? Jason Stafford, simple radio Android app. Let's use the FM chip in your phone. Just want to give it a mention because it's probably triple the amount of time I listen to radio these days. Yeah, if you have an Android phone, do take the time to install the Next Radio app that turns your phone into, if it has an FM chip that is enabled, it actually lets you tune around to the FM band. So it's the Next Radio app. If you're not sure if your phone has an FM chip or if it's actually activated, just install the app. And if there's no FM chip or if it's not activated, it's just gonna tell you. So this is what it looks like. It gives you a tuner. In most phones, you gotta have your headphones plugged in the jack because it's the antenna for the radio. But it's kind of fun because you listen to the FM band with your phone. It's actually the S9 Plus. It's actually a very surprisingly sensitive FM radio. I'm actually enjoying using it. I actually use it on the way to CKUT for the International Radio Report. I like kind of tuning the FM band while I'm going to there. If you got an iPhone, forget it. The FM chip is not working in the iPhones. Okay, what else do we have? DE1 DJK, has anybody of you received yesterday a radio ham room on 19 meter band? They broadcast once a year. Yes, I have a video of it. It was a pretty good signal here in Montreal yesterday on 15215, I believe. Really good signal. Pretty cool. What else do we have? Bill Fagan, nice to have you here. Oscar 100 are available in SDR. Geostationary satellite, yep. Can carry 90 amateur SSB QSOs as well as TV. Been on 7 days now. Covers from Brazil to Indonesia. Wow, pretty cool. Pretty cool. The technology is moving ahead. Dave Tott, nice to have you here. 31 meters, excellent here today, this hour. Well, I'm having Greece with a very good signal, 9420 right now. Pretty cool. Theo, nice to have you on board. Radioactive as 8682, point arrays, weather facts, infrared image, satellite image coming up in a few minutes. Cool. So yeah, I put a video on yesterday. I put a video on yesterday for the on that radio hum room. PLF radio, solar cycle 24, we're still in there, and there's no official, it's a transition. There's no official end date for a cycle 24 or a solar cycle. It mixes in with the next one. So what happens is that we will get more and more solar cycle 25 sunspots, but they'll be mixed in with solar cycle 24 spots. And at some point, we won't see any more solar cycle 24 spots, and only solar cycle 25 will be there. So it's going to be it's kind of interesting. So at least, you know, we're moving, and we'll see what's going to happen in the future for sure. 236, 623. It's Next Radio. Next Radio. I'll show you guys the page where it's for Android, of course, but Next Radio. I'll show you guys the page where you can download it, and here it is. So this is Next Radio, and this is the official app by Next Radio. It lets you download and listen to FM radio. So if your phone, I've got a Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus. The FM chip was activated last year at some point. A friend of mine has a S8, I believe, and he says that on his the chip is not activated. So it's not everybody. Mickey Dalmash says Umrang was very good here. Also, just send you an email. Let me just check it out here. Today's beer. So Mickey has today's beer. Shortwave West Coast Pale Ale. Now this is good. Look at that, guys. He's got the official Shortwave beer, the one that I would like to taste. Bring some over next week. So the official Shortwave beer. Thanks for sharing that. Really nice. Really nice. So let's continue on. Already an hour, 10 minutes into the show. Incredible. So Mickey says Radio Homerang was also very good there. Elizabeth, nice to have you here. Scott Cranston says the new WBCQ frequency 3265 has been coming in quite well here in Massachusetts. Unlike their higher frequencies, which appears to skip right over me. Same here. I got the exact same problem you got. A lot of this frequencies used by WBCQ. I don't hear much. Pretty much skips over me all the time. 3265 I've been able to hear absolutely also. William Helms, nice to have you on board from Florida. Mick, nice to have you on board, my friend. And so it's a bit late joining today. I've been providing a taxi service for his daughter. Taxi services for family. Nick Mayakovsky, nice to have you here. Radioactive says FM chip not available on my LG phone. Yeah, and one thing that is very, very important, even if it doesn't work right now on your phone, check from time to time when you get updates. For example, when I got my Galaxy S9 Plus, it was not activated. I could not use the app. And in one of the updates, because I always check the list of what it updated exactly, I had noticed that it said the FM chip was enabled. And I reinstalled the app, and yes, now it worked. So on some phones, it's not activated, but it is there. Sheldon Harvey, Rare Ham Radio Country, 18140, call sign T31AU from Central Kiribati in the South Pacific. So he's hearing it in Alberta. I'll tune in with very little hope of hearing it, but I'll try it. You know, it's one of those things that you hope you think you're not going to hear it, and you're like, whoa, I'm hearing it. So 18140, upper sideband. Got a lot of interference on that band too, so Nothing much here. We'll leave it there just in case we hear something. So yeah, rare ham station there for sure. Ivan says the radio I wanted to listen to is RAE to America at 5010 kilohertz 22 to 23. I've been hearing radio exteriores, Argentina exterior via WRMI a few times, and been able to hear it. 5010 is one of the frequencies that doesn't come in very well here, though, up here for sure. So Brian Iowa, nice to have you here, says Next Radio works great on his Samsung 8 Plus. Thank you. Cool. Cool. So we got an FM radio now, which is really nice. The one DJK says Radio Feta from Madagascar came in very good, 11965 in English. Received it, 19 UT. Kevin Wood has nothing on 18140 in Nova Scotia. Big surprise. Same here. I was not really hoping to receive that. But you know, you gotta try. I mean, if you don't, you never know what you're gonna miss. I mean, so many times I was thinking, well, you know, that will never make it here, and I tune it and I'm like, oh wow, the signal's there. So you gotta try it. You know, never think or take for granted. And I see a lot of people do that, take for granted that, oh well, I'll never hear that like usual. You know, no, tune. And who knows? Who knows? I've been surprised so many times to actually hear stuff that I really thought I'd never hear. So it's possible that there's a ham pileup, though. That's possible. I'm not even hearing the pileup here. So really nothing much. And I got a lot of interference on that frequency range. Since my new neighbors moved in right next door here, I got a lot of interference that wasn't there before. So let's see here, 20 meters. Anything on 20 meters? So there's something here. .5. VE7. A guy from the West Coast here, VE7. 14227.5. I'm hearing that guy, VE7 from the West Coast. Oh, nice. Matt52, nice to have you here, says Next Radio not available in the UK. I just tried to get it. Oh, sorry. That's sad. I hate that in app stores when they block apps and they block things from specific areas. It's always something I hate. It's like, come on, stop blocking apps from certain regions, please. So Mr. Cat will want to sleep here. I'm just going to put his cushion, here we go, so that he's okay. So anyways, I hate it when they block apps like that from, you know. And you know what? For example, my friend has an S8 and he doesn't have it working. And you know what? Some of these, you might also have an S8 Plus and say, well, why isn't working in mine? And the problem is that carriers tend to want to block those apps. So you might actually be listening in on, you know, having somebody listening in on an FM radio in his phone with a specific carrier, but you're on another carrier, and that carrier might say, no, we don't want that FM chip unlocked here. So you might have the same phone and not even be able to hear to listen to the radio, which is sad. Ivan says, if a radio in a determined frequency targeting, for example, Europe, Could I be able to listen to it even though I'm in South America, or is it quite impossible? You can listen in to stations that are in for other target areas, where you need to, Yvonne, where you need to understand if you can or not listen to it or receive it in South America. A few things. First of all, look at where the station is located and where it's broadcasting. So an example, Radio Romania, which is in the eastern part of Europe, broadcasting to Western Europe. Well, it's kind of broadcasting in towards North America at the same time. Even though the target area is Western Europe, it's still broadcasting towards North America. So if the frequency used can propagate from there to North America, I'll hear it. And an example is the Western Europe broadcast. I often hear it here with a very good signal. As long as the frequency used goes with the PAT. So if daytime PAT, you'll need to have a higher frequency. If it's a nighttime PAT, you'll need to have lower frequency. So look at the station broadcasting. Look its target area, where it is, where the transmitter is, where the target area is. Is it roughly in your area? And even if it's not directed to your area, even if it's off your area, you know, to the north, maybe it's a North American signal, for example. Well, you know, a signal is not this wide. The signal as it propagates actually gets wider and wider. So what happens is the signal, even though targeted to North America, might easily be heard in South America also. It all depends. So yes, you can hear stations broadcasting to other areas. For example, I regularly hear, and it's not even broadcasting towards me, it's not even my target area, I often hear European stations broadcasting to Africa. I mean, they're broadcasting south. They're broadcasting towards Africa. I'm not at all in the target area. I'm not at all in the general direction of the signal, yet I still hear it. I still hear it. I'll hear BBC, I'll hear Radio France, very often broadcasting to Africa, Vatican Radio. I hear, even though it's broadcasting to Africa, I still hear, because it's, you know, it just propagates, and that's it. And as long as the frequencies, you know, the frequency used can propagate to me because of the daytime or nighttime pattern, I often hear it. But of course, a signal that's not for your target area most of the time will be much weaker than a signal that they are actually sending to your target area. So that's something you got to know. What else do we have? Going down. Dan Hubert says, I set up 3 full wave loops, 40, 80, and 160 meters. They didn't work as well as a 40-meter dipole, approximately 2 meters above the ground. No transformers. You know, there's so many different things that impact an antenna, that it's difficult. That it's difficult sometimes to wonder. You know, you wonder why such an antenna is, you know, not working well when another is actually working very well. So, you know. William Helms, K3FEF.com in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Dan Huber says K3FEF is excellent. Ontario hams use it to hear each other in 40 meters. Nice. Sheldon says use the Midwest or West Coast SDRs. There's a pilot, but he's working split frequency up 10. So he's transmitting on 18140, but listening to 18150, 10 up. Dave Todd listens to the Ontarsnet every morning. I used to be a big fan of hamnets. I used to look at lists of ham nets all around the world and try to tune into these nets. And I kind of, for some reason, it was kind of fun to listen to these communications. I remember my first ever net that I've understood that there was a net. I'm just gonna here we go. Mr. Paul the cat wants to sleep on me, actually, apparently. So one of the first time actually I've listened to a net when I was in with my I had for about a year a big World War II Army, Canadian Army Forces tube receiver that I am so sad that I've not been able to keep. And it had single sideband on it, and it was actually a pretty surprising receiver. I would wake up in the morning in the summertime, and one of my fun things to do, there was a net here, a French language Quebec net, called Le Réseau des Joyeux Copains, on the 80 meter band, like 3775 or I don't remember the frequency they were using back then. And I would tune into that net every morning, and that's where I thought, oh, there's some things called, there's some AM nets, And I remember I don't remember what magazine or what bulletin I've seen. I remember seeing a list later in the 80s from a magazine. I believe it was a magazine. Maybe it was like Popular Communications or something. And they had a list of ham nets, and I was like, oh, look at that. There's a nice list of ham nets. I'm going to try to listen to those things. And I listened a lot to nets at that time, I can tell you that. Radioactive still downloading the infrared image of on 8682, and we'll try 18140 in a few minutes. Elizabeth says next radio is not coming up in the Google Play also. Yeah, that is sad. I hate it when they block it at different places like that. Stuart says next radio is available on Android in the UK. Just tried it. Oh. So it is available in the UK, apparently. Maybe it's, I don't know. It's weird that it's not appearing. Mark Cope, 14125, ham in Montana, S9. Let's check out anything else here. There's a strong one here on 27. I'm going to try. There's a very strong one on 279 here. Let's check that out. What else do we have? So there's something on. Look at that here. 14153. I'm hearing one ham. I'm keeping an eye on 14153 and see what I'm hearing. Radioactive says Radio New Zealand is the same way. They broadcast to South Pacific Islands, but they're still broadcasting in the direction of Western USA, which is where I am. Yeah. Same thing. Radio Australia had a great signal to North America when they were on 9580, but they were broadcasting to the Pacific. It's just that it was in the general direction of North America.
Your signal went up when you increased the microphone gain.
Somebody on 14153. I hear the other guy, but it's very weak. 14153.
No compression at all, over.
So I'm hearing some hams. Mark, 14215. Okay. Let's see if I hear something there. Matt says, I was trying to explain to someone that the azimuth of the signal being away from us doesn't mean that we're getting long path propagation, but I don't think he got it. Yeah, you know, if they broadcast, so if say you're a broadcast 90 degrees, well, 270 degrees, sorry, which is generally west. It of course goes to North America, but the problem is the signal. It's not like, you know, one of those very like a radar signal that's very pinpointed. It's these curtain antennas and antennas they use on shortwave. They have a huge span, and as the signal actually propagates, it actually gets bigger and bigger as it goes. So it's going to sweep a huge amount of space. The other thing also is that these are not perfect. These antennas try to radiate as much power in the direction they're sending it. There's a lot of it coming out of it in every direction, not just that direction also. And it's very difficult. There was a couple of posts this week that I actually started looking at, because there's, you know, we know that there are some Facebook groups that aren't as good with having information and keeping, let's say, having people that are helpful. Some are better than others. There was one post this week about a guy that was posting stuff, and people were, you know, first of all, half of the people posting were posting like whatever, and you just look at it and it's like, you feel like just telling or just posting, you know what, if you don't know what you're talking about, why are you posting a reply? You know, that's the same thing as when I was doing a lot of tech duties. You go to these, you find this forum of, you know, error 4649 on that thing, and then you see that all the posts, and you're like, 90% of these comments are useless, and people should abstain from just saying something. There are a few Facebook groups that are like that, and when they tend to start to have all of these weird replies of, you know, I just, like, the hell, I'm not gonna participate in that thing, and I'm not even gonna help or answer anything. It's a waste of time. And it happened a few times that I did reply stuff in some of the groups where somebody came up and says, well, that's not it, that's not what you receive, and that's not it. It's like, look, man, I've been receiving that darn signal for like ages. You're not gonna tell me what is or not on that frequency, and you know, it's just like, please, if you're not happy with answers, you know, you can give your opinion, but some of them don't give opinions. Some of them just like go like, well, you are wrong and that is not it. It's like, okay, but it is, and with the details that the guy gave, yeah, it is. But you just like, you know, the hell with it. So, you know, 80% of the time, I would like to help sometimes in some of the groups, but 80% of the time I abstain. I don't because I look at the way that everything's going and it's like, yeah, help yourself. I'm not gonna jump in that and start having crap everywhere. It's like, you know, so you try to explain stuff sometimes, and people just like, well, no, that couldn't be because, you know, I had one guy once that talked about pretty much what you're saying. He said, well, you know, they're transmitting opposite of where I live, so I must be receiving the... No, you can't, because it's daytime for a pulse to that path. That means that frequency is not going to make it all the way around. And he was just like, yeah, it is that, because I couldn't receive it if it wasn't, you know, they are broadcast. No, these are not 100%. These things, these antennas, there's a lot of the signal that's, you know, sent all around it, not just in the general direction. It's just crazy. It's like, and you know, when you start having someone that just says, well, you know, you're wrong, this is, yeah, forget it, okay? Believe whatever you want. I don't care. I don't care, you know? And I'm not going to help you. One thing for sure. I can tell you that. Okay. Going down. What do we have? D1 DJK says BBC and VOA broadcast mainly to Africa. west in Africa for Africa, from west to east and from north to south. You know, it's like a lot of these. What I often do is, if you know there's a transmission, say from South Africa towards Africa, of course I'm going to try it. I might be getting some of that signal moving up. That Madagascar relay station is really amazing. I'm pointing the map, by the way, here because I have a world map there. That Madagascar relay is amazing, and because it broadcasts to Africa, and a lot of that is towards pretty much North America, all of these signals are coming in so good. That's why Madagascar World Voice and you know African Pathways Radio are amazing. They actually broadcast towards here pretty much, and the frequencies they use are good for the propagation from Madagascar to North America, and it's amazing how good the signals are. Elizabeth says, I'm using 60 feet of speaker wire as a sloper out a second floor window, and the difference is night and day reception. Sometimes simple solutions work well too. Absolutely, Elizabeth. Absolutely. Sometimes very, very simple solutions are amazing. If you don't have too much noise, you know, I think the best easy antenna you can do is a long wire. Just shove a wire outside. David Snyder, nice to have you on board from Staten Island, and he's got his receiver, his SDR1 RSP1A, the SDR Play RSP1A, on Global Tuners, if you want to check it out. D1DJK says, all India radio is so strong right now, 94.45. Let's check it out, 94.45. It's there, but it's very weak for me. It's amazing because I look at Greece. Greece is so strong tonight. It's so strong tonight. And I barely get a peep off of All India Radio on 94.45. Incredible. So crazy. Then Humbert says VE3ISX is Barry. I hear and work him direct. I think you can remote to him once given permission. Stuart, 9445 S9 plus 30 in the UK right now. So you guys in Europe are really getting a strong signal off of India. Viewers creeping up, 140 plus. Yeah, it was 100. I saw it go up to 152 at one point. We're at 149 as I'm watching now. It's pretty nice. Nice to have all of these people watching live. Kevin Wood, crazy wide DJ signal on 6891. 6891. What's that? Do I have anything here? Yeah, I have something very. I have almost nothing here. It is a pirate, guys. There's a pirate, 6955. 6955, really strong right now. 6955 pirate. If you guys want to check it out, I've got a lot of music and pretty good signal. Old time music, so I don't know. Could be Wolverine. It's as a Wolverine style. I don't know why. 6955 upper sideband. Strong pirate. I hear it very well here. So pretty cool. Matt, liking my fixed up pre-selector. Got it literally right after I checked into the chat here. Was miscalibrated, but working well now. Cool. Chris Alpha Tango 14153. Kevin Wood, you know what? Unfortunately, I got no pictures of it. I don't remember what it was, but it came in a huge frame. It had the power amplifier on top and the audio amplifier. It had the huge radio with that little V-shaped signal indicator with tons of knobs everywhere. It had single sideband, and I don't know what it was. I would so love to see something that looked like it. And I used it for I used it through one summer. All I know is it came from a cousin of mine, and the cousin of mine I had it at home for like, he worked in the armed forces and probably got it there somehow. And he had it at home, but it didn't work. And he had zero idea about electronics, so he didn't know what to do. And my dad went over one day and he said, "Oh, that's nice." And he said, "Well, you know, it doesn't work. I don't want it anymore." So my dad says, "Well, I'm going to take it. I'll bring it home." And my dad knew that I was kind of, you know, a little tinkerer, looking at the electronics and seeing if something doesn't work. And it was so funny because he brought it home, and my cousin was there. So, you know, I plug it in, switch it on, and nothing happens. So I'm like, "Huh, okay." But really nothing happens. Even the little light that says it's turned on doesn't work. So I go in the back, I start looking, and I noticed that there's a little fuse holder. I unscrew it, and I look, and the fuse is burnt. And I'm like, "Oh, the fuse is burnt." So I look at it, it's like, okay, 1 amp or something like that, like, you know, 2 amps and whatever. So I look in my little drawers where I had all the fuses stuff, and I had one with 2 amps, 2.5 amps instead of 2. So I thought, no, close enough. I put that, screw it back, turn it on, turns on, and I started hearing signals. And now my cousin wasn't happy. He was like, "Oh, can I have it back?" And my dad was like, "No, you gave it. You gave it. He fixed it, but, you know, he fixed it. That's it." So it only was the fuse. And I used it all one summer. It was a huge, very heavy thing. And what happened is, by the end of the summer, I turned it on once, and it started like doing tons of smoke. I mean, it was a smoke machine. And at the time I switched it off and checked everything, it didn't work anymore. And we ended up putting it outside at the garbage, which is the dumbest thing that today I'm thinking about it. It's like, that was so dumb. But anyways, it didn't go to the garbage. I think it took 15 minutes, and there's a guy with a little pickup truck that just stopped and picked it up and put it in his truck. And I was like, okay, somebody, so I don't know, maybe it's somewhere working right now. I don't know. So I have no idea. I have a memory in my brain of what it looked like, but unfortunately I could not tell you a model number. I could not tell you anything. Maybe if I would go to you know, Canadian vintage Army radios, I could find something. I know that it was a Pirate Station 6955. So anyways, I don't have an idea what it was. I would have, maybe I would recognize it if I would look at pictures of World War II or Canadian surplus stuff. But unfortunately, and it's sad because today I think about it, it's like, man, I should never have thrown away that thing. That thing would have been amazing. And it would have been so nice here with all the radios I've got. It was an amazing radio. I remember being amazed at how sensitive and how stable it was as a military tube receiver. You could see that it was truly very, very good quality construction. And I think it was a transceiver. There was I remember there were 2 tubes missing. And I think the tubes that were missing are for the transmit part of the receiver. So, anyways. Dana F, nice to have you on board, my friend. Eaton Best, nice to have you on board. Dan Hubert says, Jill, SDR Play replaces all the other analog rigs in the big clock. I believe you do not need 2 SDR Play to run Unitrunker, just 1. Oh, no problem, Ethan. I'll go back. I'll go back, Ethan Best. No problem. Kevin Wood, Parrot 6555, very strong. Pretty cool. Matt, yeah, I hear you. So many people just post to vent their egos. They don't take any time to take in the comments you're replying to. Absolutely, absolutely. What else do we have? I will rejoin, don't worry, Texan PL 680. And Ethan Best. For sure. We'll just go down. What else do we have? What else do we have? Lima Ken, nice to have you here. Miguel Homage, love it. Jill is riding with only one beer. Ethan Best, Jill, you're wrong. Yeah, okay, I'm wrong. I'll just go and pet Paul the cat and leave all of you alone. Oh, man. Dan Huber says Jill would make an excellent ham radio operator. His wife can talk in a good way. He has a good attitude, even though he's from Montreal. What's wrong with being from Montreal? Oh man, Montreal people are the best. We are all great people. What else do we have? What else do we have? Kevin Wood, 6955 upper sideband. Bill, W3 WDR. Nice to have you here. Radio New Zealand is 5-9 plus 3 hours before sunrise on 7330. So, Matt has nothing on 6955 upper sideband in Colorado. Still there, hearing the music right now. It's somewhat weaker suddenly. It kind of dropped off suddenly. Nothing for Keegan, 6955. Matt says 6955 is lukewarm radio per HF underground post. So lukewarm radio pirates. Stuart has nothing, 6955 in the UK. Radioactive says W9 station in Virginia talking to W7 station around Portland, Oregon on 1450. The one DJK 6955 in Europe not to get, not possible. What else do we have? 7330 lower sideband. What's 7330 lower sideband? I'm not hearing anything there. I see radio Romania in English, 7375.
1% of forests and woodlands are not planted by trees, and where we can't speak of natural forest regeneration.
Radio Romania 7375.
Over the past 20 years about deforestation works and the disappearance of forests. Previous figures are now contradicted by the new energy resource. And what's more, the inventory shows that the volume of biomass.
Back on 6955 parrot frequency. The E1 DJK, depending on where you're based, you can receive signals or even not. It's a difference whether you're in North America or in Africa or in Europe. Yeah, and it's even closer than that, honestly. You can often hear a signal in one place and just 500 kilometers away. Not hear it at all. It's amazing when I compare sometimes what we can hear, and sometimes we're not that far. When you look at a world map, sometimes we're not that far off from each other, but you hear something and I don't, you know. It's crazy. Propagation works in these ways sometimes. Bullfrog 89, KD2CXU, nice to have you on board from Albany, New York. Pretty cool. Ethan, best don't bring that smoke in. Yeah, magic smoke. David Snyder, 7330, lower sideband here, loud and clear. Are those hams? On 7330, they couldn't be hams. They could be. Are they in English? It could be Mars, Military Auxiliary Radio System. They often hang around just above or below the ham bands. So that could be that. If not, because there's no amateur radio band. 7330 is not an amateur band. So this is either military auxiliary radio systems, or it could be simply some fishermen or whatever they're talking. I'm not hearing anything on 7330 here. Can I tune any Morse code signal? So I'll go to the pirate here, and I just saw something. So here's one. Here's one. There you go. There you go. Ivan, 7011.5 upper sideband. So 7012 CW or something like that. Some 40-meter hams in Morse code, CW. Keegan says 3 seconds delay here. AA something. AA4 something. That it was AA4. I could recognize the. It called CQDX, and AA4B, I think is AA4B. Is what I think I picked up with my ears. Even though it's fast, it sounds, I do believe it's AA4B. Joel Lewis, nice to have you on board from the Philippines. Just wanted to get up early once and say hi. Remember, shortwave content, going back to bed soon. We'll download and watch later. Cool, Joel. Nice to have you on board from the Philippines. And nice for you to have come over and said hi. Matt says 7330, lower sideband, nothing here in Denver. Strange, that's well out of band for hams. Are they speaking English? I would think it's Mars Military Auxiliary Radio System, or if they're in English, or fishermen or whatever that are hanging over there. Sheldon Harvey says 6955 upper sideband, lukewarm radio, giving email. It's lukewarmradioshortwave@gmail.com. So 6955 lukewarm radio pirate. It just ID'd as lukewarm radio. And now some music again. So they just ID'd lukewarm radio. Bob Pierpont, nice to have you here. Streaming from Montreal, Quebec, Canada, northeast part of North America. And where are you located, Bob? Bobby Burgess. What is it here?
Neither hot nor cool. We're lukewarm radio.
So some more music. PA1WX, nice to have you on board from the Netherlands. Pretty cool to have you here. Bobby Burgess wonders what digital mode QO100 uses in the narrowband frequencies. Huh. 236, 623, hey there. Then F, what band do the old army talk on back then? Well, in the old times, of course, lower frequencies, but you know what? That radio was a general coverage. I believe it went up to 30 megahertz. That old radio. What else do we have? The E1 DJK says, I love my new S3050DL, better sound and reception in comparison to Little Texan. Yeah, it is a little better, and the sound is good because it's a very big speaker. Salut Denis, bienvenue, et toujours bienvenue. J'espère que, merci du commentaire, c'est toujours un plaisir, et as Denny says, just to the southeast of Montreal, Longueuil, says the show is addictive, and it's the first time he's listening live, and it is. I hope though, I hope you can join more regularly, and can join tomorrow. There's another one tomorrow on the VHF UHF channel. So. William Collins, Jill, you not drink much tonight? No, I was drunk last time. I'm trying to avoid being drunk tonight. Hey, let's just, for a couple of seconds, do some self-promotion after, almost 2 hours into the show. If you guys want to help out, I mean, it cost me a tremendous amount of money to pay for the internet bill for this show to be on the air because I need a much faster connection. You know, I am soon to get myself a new laptop because I need to have good equipment to do live shows and stream on HD and stuff. And all of that costs a lot of money. And, you know, you can help out if you want with donations, paypal.me/shortwave, or to the Yahoo email that you see here. You can also become a patron on patreon.com/radio-and-computers and join and give a little something every month. I mean, I'm here every week. I take a lot of time, hammers on Fridays to bring you this live show, which I do love doing, of course. And, you know, if you enjoy what you do, why not think about it as some kind of subscription service? Or, you know, I don't want to, some people tell me, you know, why don't you use the super chat and stuff like that. It's like, I don't like giving more importance to someone than somebody else. I don't like having, okay, you got money, you'll be able to watch my show. You don't have money, you can't. I don't like that stuff. I like to have an open system. And I mean, yes, I do have YouTube monetization, of course. But you know what? What you give in as donations, they help out. Pay for the equipment, pay for the internet, and you know, if you like what I do, why not think about it? I think it's a valid question. Do you like what you see? You've been here all the time. You're here every week. You find it really cool to have this live. Well, you know what? Why not share and help out a little bit if you can? I totally understand if you can't. Any amount helps. And somebody asked me this week, actually asked me for my address, my postal address, because he wanted to send me, he doesn't use electronic stuff like PayPal, and he wanted to send me by mail. Well, you can actually send me an email at officialshortwaveradio@gmail.com, and I'll give you my postal address, and you can send a postal money order to me, and I'll be able to you know, exchange it here at the post office. So if you like what you see, if you are here all the time, please think about it. You know, it costs me a lot more money to do it, I'm happy to do it, and I'm happy to be here. Frankly, it's a lot of fun, you know, sharing the passion. But you know, I'm here. It's like kind of my job a little bit here, you know. And I you know, want to thank everybody that donated. And if you have not donated yet and are thinking about it, why not? And thank you so much. So Pirate Station still on 6955. Look at that new interference that just appeared. And I'm hearing noise in the next room. So they just turned on something that creates noise. Nick Mayakovsky confirms 6955 upper sideband strong. Radioactive as WU9P on 14250. Eddie Essex, show us how to record that pirate on Uno, and where does your computer store it? I never use the recording capabilities of SDR Uno, honestly. What I do is usually do a screen capture using OBS Studio to have all of it. I've never actually used the recording capability of SDR Uno, and I know it can do it. So I would need to check it out. Actually, I've never used it, so I can't really check it out like that. But I'll post a video. You know what? I have several videos of SDR Uno on a post, because there's one thing that always is interesting. There are a lot of questions, and it's like everything in every hobby. There are a lot of questions of SDR Uno and how to use it that are always related to pretty much the same problems that everybody have. And I think that there's a need for a specific set of videos to explain. One of the most common problems that I've seen that a lot of people have is when they're in AM mode and they say the audio is distorted. It's just, you know, it's just that the low frequency and the main frequency you're tuned to need to be different if you don't want the AM signal to be distorted. And a lot of people don't know that, and I actually had that problem the first time I used the RSP1A. And so that's a question that comes back all the time. Bullfrog, gotta love Quebec. Dan Hubert says there's an Olivia net tonight from Utah or Idaho, 7071.5 upper sideband, and it's Larry's baby, I think. Olivia 16500. I don't know. What do you know what time? Dan? What time is it? What time is that net? I like tuning in different digital modes. It's always a lot of fun. So, you know, it's really one of those things that that I have a lot of fun with. So, here is Hi Mapper from Moscow. Nice to have you on board from Moscow, Russia. Pretty cool to have you here. Bobby Burger says nothing on 6955. And this is the codes of the International Space Station SSTV images of last week. So this is what you've received here. So you can see the pictures that he's got. So pretty nice. Nice the codes. Nice to see the decoding of digital signals. Actually, it's always a lot of fun to see what people are receiving and on all of that. Okay, so let's continue on. What else do we have? Ray Erdink, sorry, I had to do something. Did anybody respond to with help whether to get the PL660 or PL680, please? I think both are good. Some people say the 660 is better. You know, I think it's a personal taste. I remember reading the shortwavelistening.com review of the 660 and the side-by-side review of the 660 and the 680. Maybe one negative side of the 680 is the single sideband decoding is the audio is weaker, and maybe it's not a problem on the 660. Texan PL 680. So Montreal is better than Toronto because Jill is at home of the live shortwave show. Yes. No feud at all. I think it's a question we all love. We all love our home city. I think it's just that. I've been to Toronto 2 times, and I actually love Toronto. The only thing I hate about Toronto is the bars that close at midnight. You know, is it still like that? I haven't been to Toronto in 10 years. But I remember last time I went to see Tom Petty in concert in Toronto in 2008. And I remember we got out of the show, and it was a nice June evening. And it was warm outside, and we saw a terrace. And I said, oh, we're going to have a beer. And we sat down. It was like 11:25. And the guy comes over and says, well, you know, it's last call. It's like, what? What is that? In Montreal, we drink until 3 a.m. But I can tell you I'm not one of those that will have a feud of anything like that. I actually enjoy everywhere. And I'd like to visit the West Coast. I'd like to go to Vancouver and see, you know, the western provinces, and, you know, going to Alberta and everything. I want to see that. I want to see the Rockies. I've never seen the Rockies. I'd like to see that. Eddie Essex says, hearing Pirate in Sarnia, Ontario. Pretty cool. Matt said, Jean, you mentioned Wolverine Radio. Most likely they will be on tomorrow evening around 01 UTC. Could be earlier. And he's been doing a lot of 90-meter broadcasts, 3440 recently. What else do we have? Eaton Best, 7375, Parallel, 7310. Yes, for Romania, absolutely. D1DJK in Romania, like an FM station, simple 55555. That's good. Stuart, 7375, it's 9 plus 30. Pretty cool. Tim Best says the reception difference between my location and MBOT's Kiwi SDR, only about 200 miles, is really incredible. Absolutely. You don't need that much of a difference, honestly. Bye, PLF Radio. Tomorrow, VHF, UHF show on the other channel. Don't forget. Don't forget. William Collin, how do you remember all the stations? Well, I remember because I listen all the time. I have a schedule in my head. So it's because I listen a lot. So I tend to remember the frequencies and what station they are. So a lot of the times people just throw at me a frequency. It's like, what's that? Oh, that's that, you know. So, you know, I have a tremendous memory. I remember everything. Kenwin Wood says AA3G. Okay, thanks. Dan Uber says fast code. Agree on AA4B. There's going to be a war. I know it was AA, that's for sure. I was trying to get AA, and I thought it was AA4B, but, you know, I could be wrong. I'm not very Morse code fluent, I'm going to say. So some music still on 6955 upper sideband. Take care, Radioactive. See you tomorrow. Nice to have you here. Phil Hensler, nice to have you on board. Has good copy. 6955, I would guess, is what you are mentioning. D1DJK has VOA Botswana very strong on 9485. Bob Pierpont is on Massachusetts, USA. Cool. Nice to have you here. Redelva 65, nice to have you on board, my friend. Always cool to have everybody here. Jim Bayans, nice to have you on board from Calgary, Alberta. Nice to have you on board, my friend. Pretty cool. Dan Hubert says, long ago, Popular Communications issued shortwave listening call signs. I became VE2PEINY. They even published a picture of me. Do they still do it? 1972-62 on the September issue. There is today the ARRL, a side of the ARRL that actually issues shortwave call signs. And some of you out there have them. Bobby Burgess has a shortwave call sign. A few of you have your shortwave call sign also. iMapper got message from C-Crane promo about their new CC Radio 2E with Bluetooth capability, Model 3. What's my opinion? CC Radio 2E is very good at AM reception, 5 stars according to Radio Jailan. I've been hearing a lot of good things on C-Crane receivers, but I've never owned one and never tried one, so you got to rely on what others are saying on it. I've had a lot of people say that they've really had a lot of good, reception with the C-Crane receivers for sure. So like the SDR screen on your display, can we have it bigger? Yeah, I would have. Actually, I'm soon to have a bigger screen here. I'm soon to have a 50-inch because I'm changing my TV in the living room eventually because it has a problem, and but it would work well for what I need to do here. So I would put a hey Red Hat Shortwave, aka XFM. Yes, I did receive your QSL. Thank you very much for that. I did receive it. I will actually, I need to actually show it here. I have it in my email. So here we go. Just a few seconds here. Gotta find it. Here we go. Red Hat Shortwave. And here we go. XFM. And I will show you. Here we are. Thanks, by the way, for the EQSL for XFM. And here we go. This is the QSL card that I received. Thank you very much, by the way. So we've got a famous pirate in the chat room. Nice to have you here, Red Hat Shortwave. And what else do we have? Yvonne. D1 DJ Kitchen has the international and national radio stations broadcasting around the world, and not much is known which transmitters they use. Well, most of the, by the way, most of the information is pretty accurate on the EIBI Space website for the transmitter locations. David Snyder, take care, my friend, and enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your weekend. Steve Frost, just installed Simple Radio app on my Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge. Works great. Just tuned into some Australian stations. Butterbean, nice to have you on board from Northeast Georgia. The ISS decoding stream was awesome. Yeah, it was a lot of fun to do it live, actually. Pretty cool. Yeah, there's a huge delay, Dan Hubert, because I'm far in the chat room. Absolutely. I'll try to go faster. I had caught up with the chat room at some point, but I went back because what happens is when I tune around or do things, I tend to stop chat at a certain point, so I get many minutes behind. So nice to have you here, Dean Martin. Nice to have you here, David Martin. Sorry. William Collins says 660 is better in shortwave SSB, so it's possible that it's a little better. I wouldn't say, I don't have the 660, so I don't know, but it's possible. KC9KUH, nice to have you on board. 59 here in Indiana home of the Indy 500 race cars. Yeah, by the way, if you go to online, there's the radio history website. Let me just popular communication PDFs. If you go to a website which is AmericanRadioHistory.com, you have every single edition of Popular Communications that was issued. They're all in PDF, and you can of course read them on your PC or tablet or phone. They're all there. I've actually started putting them in my 10-inch tablet, and I enjoy watching Popular Communications from the 80s. Pretty crazy. Bullfrog89, Angel, not that you'd ever say who it was if you knew, but did you ever find out who was pirating your show on Shortwave? Simple yes or no. Yes, I do. And part of it was kind of arranged. Let's just say it like that. But yeah, but not all of them. There's a couple of times when I don't know who it was. But there's a couple of times when I do know who it was. And one time where it was kind of arranged in advance. So, you know. Oh, it was Popular Electronics. That's what I want. I wanted. Anton Barrington was Popular Electronics. Yeah, it was not Popular Communications that they should call it. Popular Electronics. Jeff in Stafford, check the mail in my hand wrong the HRD 103. Got here from China. Testing it out, $7. Well, $7. That's kind of cheap little radio. Nick Mayakovsky. There are some magazines that have gone, but one of the things that that is on, and it is amazing, is Spectrum Monitor, electronic publication. I'm subscribed to the Spectrum Monitor, and it's really good. And they are you can buy one issue or subscribe for a year, and I've been enjoying it. It's pretty much like the magazine. If you like Monitoring Times, it's pretty much the same magazine. And a lot of editors from Monitoring Times actually moved to the Spectrum Monitor. Check it out. Sheldon says a rare ham country, 14210 5J0JC from San Andres in Providencia, northwest of mainland Colombia. Let's check that out. 14210. See if we hear anything here. 14210 upper sideband. Okay, I'm hearing a ham from British Columbia having a contact with him. Enjoy your lasagna, I read 61. Matt Tambali says Radio Exterior España 9690, it's 9 plus. Hey Fastlow, nice to have you on board. Elizabeth, just go to PayPal and just send it to the Yahoo email that I just posted there, and it's going to work. Usually it should work. PayPal.me/shortwave should technically work. But if it doesn't, just send it to the Yahoo email. And you'll have it. It's going to be okay. What else we have? I never subscribed to Monitoring Times. Personally, Kimberly, but I had there was a magazine stand downtown Montreal that was actually that had it every month. So I would just buy it there. Texan PL 680, yes. Canadian International DX Club, CIDX, always provides sample issues to people that never asked for one before. Red Hat Shortwave. By the way, I'm doing a round of postal QSL soon. Oh, really? Wow. Okay, cool. Cool, Red Hat Shortwave. That'd be nice. McGlone. Hey, from hot Florida. Nice to have you here. From cold Montreal. Well, actually isn't too bad today. William Conlon, if you want to send, you could become a patron on Patreon, or you can actually just send me a little email, William, in officialshortwaveradio@gmail.com, and I'll send you my postal address. You can send a postal money order by mail if you want. Sheldon, CIDX sample bulletin, send email to cidxclub@yahoo.com. So it's pretty cool. Yvonne, tomorrow I gave to work on a 130-year-old steam locomotive. That must be really nice. That must be really nice. I like trains. I always been a big fan of everything that is railroad stuff. Is just crazy. I mean, and by the way, Elizabeth, I just got your donation. I just saw it appear on my phone. So thanks for. If you're wondering if it's gone, it's come through. I got it here. Thanks so much. So Paul Swift, nice to have you here. Thank you very much for the nice comments. But always enjoyed railroad. I mean, must be really, really nice to see that old steam locomotive for sure. Edward Hernandez, 7210. Check it out. 7210. Yeah. Pretty good signal with some music on 7210, which I believe is radio, China radio. Yeah, it's China radio in Spanish. I'm just going to leave these schedules here open so I can check it out. 7210. So China Radio International in Spanish, I believe. Wait, let me just check it out. Yeah, 7210. Okay, here it is. Yeah, until 0000 from the Albania transmitter site. Don't forget, guys, that the Radio Exterior de España will be in English at 2300 in 40 minutes from now. So, 26 Celsius. That's Maglom. That's 26 Celsius. That's perfect for radio outside, enjoying radio. Locomotive is a Scottish one called Yate number 11. Okay, I'm going to check that out. Nice thing is getting inside of it and under it. These are nice. These are so beautiful. Always enjoyed railroad and trains. Eddie SX says CC Radio 2E enhanced AM FM NOAA weather 2-meter handband portable radio. Best AM receiver I've ever owned. Wanted it for years and finally broke down and bought it. Pulls in AM station excellent. Cool. I need to get one of those sea cranes and try it out at some point. Bullfrog89 forgot I was going to share a story with my class. My fiancé and I found an amazing Asian market nearby, owned by a Chinese family. They sell products from all Asian countries. They don't speak much English, but I asked if they listened to CRI and they decided I was alright. The son went and got his parents and we chatted a bit about radio and things. Oh, cool. Cool. They'll be able to listen to China radio. Take care, KC9KUH. Sheldon says the CQ Worldwide 160 meter single sideband contest just began. 2200 UTC and goes up to February 24th, 2200 UTC. That means it's going to be interesting. I'm going to try the 160 meter band tonight. It's still early. I mean, well, the sun is kind of setting right now here. I see it setting. I don't think there's going to be a lot of stuff right now. Let's just, for the curiosity of it, try 160 meters. So, anything here? Well, I mean, the sun is setting. It's still a little early, but I'm hearing 1830, some contesting going on. Kind of interesting.
November 9th, New York.
New York station, 1822 lower sideband.
Thanks for Maryland. George, contact Whiskey United 2 X-ray. Future contact Whiskey Uniform 2 X-ray. Whiskey Uniform 2 X-ray.
Whiskey Uniform 2 X-ray on 1822 lower sideband. So there's some activity. I'm surprised to hear activity on a 160 meter band. Wow. And it's still kind of light outside. But it's working. Hey, David in Barcelona. Nice to have you on board. Pretty cool to have you here. Man. David Martin says 7210 in U.S. amateur radio band allocation. Is that common for some international state-run radio to overlap? In Europe and in parts of the world, 7200 and up is actually mixed international broadcast band and amateur radio signals. So there's quite a few stations from 7200 up to 7300 in that portion. It used to be worse because it used to be up to 7100. And I remember the 80s, Radio Moscow being all over the 40 meter band. There's still some stations that are in the 71, 7200 range that I hear from time to time, very weak. But technically they shouldn't be there. But anything above 7200 in the international broadcast bands allocation is okay. But I believe it's everything that is outside North America. I don't think that you can do it. A station in North America, I think, is not allowed to be in that range. But a station from Europe could, from what I understand. There's a kind of regulation here. Red Hat Shortwave, what antennas are you using for receive there? I've got a sloper, 22 meter long sloper antenna outside, and that's pretty much what I use for all the band. So I'm 160 meter band with that antenna right now. I see a signal in above 1980 kilohertz. There's one around 1822. There's another one around 1830. So I'm actually hearing it's going to be interesting. I'm going to try that tonight and tune around. Sheldon Harvey says DX spotting sites are full of 160 meter band stations operating. So kind of interesting. Yep, 160 meter band ham band are in lower sideband. That's very important. Dan Hubert says W2X got him. Cool. Corleone, nice to have you here. I'm in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Radocom says good night. Take care, my friend. It was nice to have you here. Tomorrow, VHF, UHF show on the other channel. So, as Red Hat Shortwave says, 72, 7300 is only protected in ITU Region 2, I believe, which is US Canada. Yep. Absolutely. Here we're not allowed, but pretty much everywhere else in the world you can. For sure. DU1 DJK says CQ contest. I did hit that years ago. Your 5.9, yeah, that is that. Yeah, absolutely. Ethan Best says there's an Ethiopian or Eritrean that occasionally show up above 70, just around 7100. Yeah, I've heard a weak signal from that, like 7100 or 7110 or 7105, something like that. I remember. What else do we have? Edward Hernandez, how's 27224? 27224 in my area. 27224 has nothing much right now. A lot of noise. Nothing much. Take care, Vianney. Prends soin de toi. Toujours un plaisir. What program am I using? This is SDR Uno, and it's running a SDR Play RSP1A receiver that's plugged into my 22-meter sloper antenna in the backyard. Keegan has WWVH out of Hawaii. And pretty nice. Let's try 15,000, just out of curiosity here. 15,000. Wow, I've got a lot of noise today. I don't know where that noise comes from, but I don't have that much noise usually in that band. Joel Lewis, nice to have you here, says Survival Library 73 magazine digitized on its website, many other books as well. Kevin Wood, 40 meters was the place to be as a beginner in 1969, apparently. So I did a lot of 40 meters. I have three. Well, no, I in the amateur bands for a listener like me. There are a few bands that I enjoy a lot. When it's open, I love 10 meters. 10 meters is amazing. I like the work bands because they're quieter, and there's often some DX to be heard on the work bands, which one of which is that I like a lot is the 17-meter one, which is 18068 to 18168. So you know, there's a lot of stuff that's kind of interesting. Jen Hubert, FLDG will copy Olivia. Downloaded the app. Olivia can be decoded. Actually, FLDG is a great piece of software for decoding digital modes. You've got multi-PSK. The interface is kind of a mess, but it actually works well. WSJTX for FD8 and all of that, pretty good too. Amazing pieces of software for sure. So yeah, I remember having so much fun listening to the ham bands for a long time. Also, when I started listening to the shortwave bands, I mean, listening to the ham bands was something that was a lot of fun, and I had a lot of fun doing that for sure. D1DJK, today afternoon until today early evening was much noise on all bands, 41 meter, no clue. You know, a lot of it is local, a lot of it is from around where you live, and unfortunately there's not much that you can do about it, and that's the kind of the sad thing, because it makes our hobby a little sad for that, for sure. It's more difficult to hear what we want to hear, and it's kind of an interesting aspect of our hobby that we got to live with, because there's so much noise that's created. I got distracted. Somebody texted me that they are missing my voice at the karaoke, apparently. So anyways, it's one of those things that unfortunately, look, I got this noise, and this pretty much appeared when I got my new neighbors. Unfortunately, there's nothing I can do about it. I'm not going to go knock on the neighbor's door and say, hey, can you stop everything you're doing tonight? Because I'm going to listen to the shortwave bands. Unfortunately. Red Hat Shortwave. Urban RFI is getting worse by the day. So I sometimes wonder what it was like to listen back in the 50s when there was a lot less noise. When did you start listening, Red Hat? I listened to the shortwave bands in the 80s, and it was so quiet. You could in the 80s, I could hang a wire antenna across the house, and it was super quiet. I could listen to tons of things. The first radio frequency interference I ever came across in my life was the neighbor's 26-inch Sony TV. They had purchased in 86, 87. I would hear the buzzing of the signal every time they would turn it on, and it was driving me nuts because it was enough to block. I remember I was listening to Radio Australia. One of the frequencies in the summer evenings was 17795, and I remember when they turned on the TV, the buzzing was right on that frequency, and I just couldn't hear anything anymore. And I was so happy when they turned it off. It was like, oh man. I remember around 11:30 p.m. they would go to bed, they would turn it off, and suddenly, wow, the bands became quiet again, and I could listen to signals. Man, that was, if I'd known back then what it would be today, I could tell you that was nothing compared to what today is. And I didn't have any, to give you an idea of how in the 80s there were no interference. For almost all of the 80s and even early 90s, I didn't even have a coax to bring the antenna wire in. I would have the entire the wire antenna from outside actually all the way up to the radio without any shielding or anything, and I had no problem. It would work great. Unlike today, if I would do the same thing today and have, I got a coax coming from the backyard up to here. If I didn't have that today, that would be 10 times more noise because I would have all the noise from inside. Just crazy. Yvonne says, I think that would be nice to see as content referring is homemade stuff for receiving setup and how to improve. Bullfrog picking up radio. La Historia de España in Spanish from Spain. It's going to be in English in 24 minutes. Ivan Alberto, nice to have you here. When are you planning to get your ticket? Soon. No worry. Soon. I'll be there. Mark Tuyet, nice to have you here. Take care, Joe Lewis. It was nice to have you on board. Sheldon, another pirate just popped up, 6925, playing old style big band time music. Let's check it out. 6925. I've got a buzzing, and I do not have that station here, unfortunately. I had the 6955 parrot earlier. I don't have that one right now. Wow, I have really strong noise right now. I don't know what they are turning on to do this, but that is horrible. Let's check the lower 4 megahertz. Sometimes there are pirates there. This is nuts. Look at that noise, man. I don't have that usually. It's not there usually. These weird lines like that, they're kind of chopped. I've been having that a few times in the past couple of weeks. Just driving me nuts. Zero Cool, spy number station 10715. Yep, there it is. Not super strong, but the signal's there. 10715 in the noise. Pretty cool. Pagemaster, nice to have you on board. Says noise to shortwave listeners are equivalent to light pollution to amateur astronomers. Absolutely, it's the same thing. Red Hat Shortwave says, was just a kid in the 80s. I was a teen. I was a teenager. Mario DXer, nice to have you on board. Misses my echo voice. If I was a shortwave god. Oh man. Yep, hearing the number station lady there. 29654. I don't think I will hear anything there. Yep, I do have a lot of noise, but nothing. Nothing on 29654. Usually that's the 10 meter band. Should be FM stations or FM repeaters on around that range. For sure. David Martin says, earned old-timer ham on 40 meters today, talking about how open and active the 6 meter band was in the 60s. Yeah, well, and there was an amazing period in the 50s, and even today they talk about it regularly. And the solar maximum of 1957, 58, somewhere down there, was so amazing that it would actually have the 6 meter band was open every day, just with solar activity, which was pretty crazy when you think about the weak solar cycle we just had. Honestly, you know. Upton Byington says TV Sing Birdies were the bane of my shortwave existence back in the 50s. That ignition noise of passing cars. Now, I remember hearing a lot of the ignition noise of cars, even in the 80s. Cars would go by and you'd hear them while they were going by, and then it just faded away. Even if there was on my CB, portable CB walkie-talkies, I remember. Mika Dalmash says, I have been reviewing many cassette tapes of my listening days in the early 70s. I cannot believe how quiet the bands were in my urban location. Almost zero background noise. Yeah, it was crazy. Crazy back then. I mean, wow. Keegan is hearing WTWW on 5085. Let's check it out. 5085. Yeah, it's there. Not super strong, but it's there with some music. 5085. John, newcomer and learning a lot and prepping for tech license. I've been using an SDR for listening and am wondering how you know which bandwidth to select for a particular frequency. If you're referring to the bandwidth for what you're listening to, the bandwidth refers to mostly the mode that you're using. So you'll have a larger bandwidth for AM, for example, which will be usually more like a 5 or 6 kilohertz bandwidth. You'll have a smaller bandwidth for a single sideband, typically 2.2, 2.8 kilohertz. I don't know if I'm actually understanding your question well. If it's not what you wanted to know exactly, what exactly do you mean? Maybe you can rephrase it. Typically, bandwidth of the received signal will go with the mode you're using more than anything else. Mad Boy, nice to have you on board. McGlone says, on my street I have 16 transformers. Whoa. I got one just on the other side here. But surprisingly, it doesn't seem to be creating a lot of noise for me. So, take care, Ivan. It's nice to have you here. So we have David Martin says 10715 strong and clear in Dallas on a PL380 and a 2 feet antenna indoors. Cool. Yeah, there is some atmospheric noise sometimes, but honestly, 95% of everything we get is local in nature, much more than anything else. Moises Karilutla, nice to have you here. Bonjour. First time I write in chat. What kind of role do you think shortwave would have if Venezuelan situation will escalate? You know, all I could say is that shortwave is important for information, and I think what's happening in Venezuela is just letting us know that shortwave needs to be maintained, because there will always be a need for you know, information, and you can't rely in these cases. Information is there to you know, it can't be relied from local governments when things go bad. So having outside information is a good thing. So Mick, cars would interfere with TV back when I was a kid. Brian, how about the Planet WBCQ? Are they right now on 32? Let's try 3265. Are they on? Yeah, they are on 3265. It's not very strong, but 3265 is there. 5130 is not. 7490 is not. So 3265 is pretty much the only one I got, and it's rather weak right now. But 3265 is there. You can hear it with some music right now. 3265 WBCQ's in. Red Hat Shortwave says, a friend of mine lived in a small town and said you could identify the make and model of the car that just drove by the ignition noise pattern it made. It's totally possible. Totally possible. Keegan says, I would sometimes see interference on VHF analog and NTSC TV stations for certain vehicles passing by. Absolutely. Johnny DXer, nice to have you here. D1DJK says, here in Germany, it's a nightmare to do amateur radio. Too many calls all over the band, especially on the relay stations, VHF, UHF. Yeah. Dan Hoover says, Radio Canada International, I went for a tour of their site about 20 years ago. Horizontal co-phase dipoles, wow. That must have been nice. William Conlon says, can you try 8825 or 8906? Let's try 8906. Upper. Oh, look at that, man. That noise is crazy. Crazy. So here I am on 8906. I don't know if we'll hear anything. David in Barcelona says, when I listen to local airband 118, 136 here in Barcelona, I can hear the ignition noise of certain motorcycles. Michael Owen says, we have smart electric meters, no more meter readers. Yeah, we have smart ones here too. I haven't seen, you know, so here they're just below, the smart meters are just below where I am pretty much now. If I just position myself, yep, the room where the smart meters are just under here. I'm actually sitting on top of that. But when they moved or changed from the old mechanical meters, if you want, to the smart electric meters, I didn't see a change in anything in my radios. I was here when they did it that day, honestly. Liza says, I hated Volkswagen Beetles. They were super popular period back in the 80s. They were very popular everywhere. I mean, the Volkswagen Beetle was everywhere, everywhere. It was even here. Take care, Sheldon. See you Sunday morning on the International Radio Report. It's nice to have you here. Souvlaki and Greek salad. That's going to be good. No problem, Sheldon. See you Sunday morning, as usual. So, Then Hubert says Radio Canada International so powerful that the signals would come out of the toasters and the locals. Yeah, you know, I guess when you have or you live next to a very, very powerful stuff. Bobby, yeah, WRMI is actually, and I don't know how long it lasted, but I know that when I came on, it was actually on. The concert was actually on, going on. I saw some posts going through that people were listening to it. I read an article today that claims reusing rechargeable batteries on Sangean 909X raises the noise floor. You know, one of the things that we gotta remind each other is that rechargeable batteries versus alkaline batteries, okay? Rechargeables do not give 1.5 volts, they give 1.2. That means you got 4.8 volts in your radio rather than 6 volts on your radio. I guess in some types of electronics it might have an effect. It might have, you know, if you have less power, maybe the radio doesn't perform as well. Maybe the amplifier doesn't perform as well. I don't know. It's totally possible. NESX, have you ever noticed on the noise field a little hump that runs through the band occasionally? If so, what do you know what it is? Yeah, that's a ionospheric sounder. You see it go through. It's actually a form of radar that checks for the maximum usable frequencies of the ionosphere. So it actually runs through and will sweep. And even if you don't look at the SDR, you might be listening to a station on shortwave and hear a chirp sound go through for for a quarter of a second. It's actually an ionospheric sounder. It is there to scan the frequency range of the shortwave bands and see how much or what frequency is actually being able to be reflected by the ionosphere. So that's how they have these on some websites. You have maximum usable frequency maps. They are made, some of them are made using those ionosound that go through the band, and in an evening I'll see them sweep regularly, and it's kind of fun on an SDR to see it because you see it go through, and it's just so funny to see it go through like that. So the broadcast is going on right now, so the concert is going on right now. So I know that there's one in the 5.9 megahertz range that I heard earlier, but I don't know what frequencies are the ones with the concert on. So I look here at 93, 95, nothing. 77, 80 new. There's some music on 77, 80. I don't know what it is. No, that's Spanish. I saw one of those 5 megahertz frequency, 5985 or something. It's not going on the regular ones I hear over here. Red Hot Shortwave. We're in the process of building a new exciter for the new transmitters. We should be back in stereo hopefully by summer. Oh, so you're not in stereo right now, in Sequam stereo stuff. It's always fun to. I always enjoy listening to your XFM broadcasts, and often make a really, really good signal here. What's the pinging noise in the middle of the AM band? What frequency are you're hearing a pinging sound? Maybe it's something local to you that you're listening to. David says, when Radio Free Europe, Radio Liberty transmitted out of Playa de Pals with a power output of 1 megawatts, not too far from Barcelona, the locals over at Pals Village often heard voices in Russian out of their light bulbs. Pretty nice. Okay, so you're just in conventional AM right now. I need to try that when you are back in that Sequam stereo thing. I need to try to decode that. It'd be kind of nice to see that. Would be a fun project, actually. So, hey guys, Max says from who operates the sounders? I believe it's there's a few university around the United States that operate them for propagation purposes, and I believe maybe the U.S. Air Force is operating one of them for, of course, because they have these shortwave frequency or HF frequencies that they use for the communications. So that could be. So hey guys, we've been on for almost 3 hours. I'll take it easy for tonight because tomorrow we got another show. And I'm kind of hungry because you guys have been talking about food since earlier, and I'm starting to really be hungry now. I want to thank you so much for being here. And basically, it's always fun to do these shows. Tomorrow on the VHF, UHF channels, it's not going to be here. It's going to be on the other channel. We'll be talking about anything that is above 30 megahertz. Hope you guys enjoyed the show for today. For those that won't be here tomorrow, the next show will be next week. Will be March the 1st next week. Incredible. We will be March 1st next Friday. I just realized that we'll be a new month next Friday. Wow. So hope everybody enjoyed the show. And always nice to have everybody here. Thanks for the donations, for those that gave donations to the show. And we'll be back tomorrow for VHF, UHF, and we will be, just checking out what's happening above 30 megahertz. Take care, my friends. Stay safe. Love you all. And hope you guys enjoy what I do. Take care, my friends. Bye-bye.